Hi everyone, and welcome to hashtag Let's Get Awkward. So, something got me the other day. I was chilling and having a flick through Facebook when I noticed a post by a parent whose kid goes to the same school as mine. I have had beef with this person before, but that has nothing to do with today's topic. What does was how they reacted to LGBT plus being taught in school. They admitted it wasn't the LGB that was the problem, it was the T. How it is straight up child abuse to teach them this topic, taking away their innocence by teaching them it is okay for a man to be a woman or identifying as a different age, skin colour, and sleep with 8-year-olds. 8-year-olds. No. Sorry, this isn't MAPS, which stands for Minor Attracted Person, or as the rest of the same world calls them, pedophiles. Somehow they and others were under the wrong impression of what the LGBT education package, as well as wrong ideas of trans in general, which I have covered in previous episodes. They also seem to be under the impression kids will be taught sex at a young age. There is difference between sex and sexuality. There is no plan to teach 5-year-olds sex. What they are planning to teach them is about relationships, which won't be just about boyfriend and girlfriend. Relationships is a connection with another person, any person. This can be friends, best friends, colleagues, siblings, parents, aunts, uncles, teachers, employers. The list goes on. We all have a different type of relationship with them, and to have someone explain it feels amazing as it gives them a foundation to build understanding in boundaries and roles within each one. It's teaching how to have healthy relationships. I didn't learn about sex till I was 11 years old, and that was just the sperm and the egg. They didn't give any detail of how A got to B. It was just, this is the sperm, it goes into the egg, and then a baby's made, and they showed us different stages of the baby growing. And I didn't really get to know the rest of it until I got to high school, where they taught us about sex in science class. And also menstrual cycles, which is very fun to learn. And then after that, they decided to tell us about protection, but I think by then a lot of teenagers in my class had already done it, or well, they bragged about it, but I think they might have been lying. This way I was taught was far from perfect. It never covered relationships, consent, expressing feelings, or how to fix a relationship. Relationships of boyfriends was covered by the church, and the answer was always go to God, and sex was a big no until marriage. I could do a whole podcast on this subject alone. Point is, amending the subject is needed, and what they plan to do seems good. We are not planning to sexually warp kids. We want them to learn about the world around them. Families are no longer just a mum, dad, and kids. I grew up with a mum and a dad with 3 siblings. One is a half sibling, and my dad is their stepdad, yet he loves her as their own. My family unit in my house is me, my daughter, and my brother. My second eldest sister lives with her 2 kids, and their dad lives a stone's throw away and helps like a father should. There are families who have 2 dads, 2 mums, single parents, being raised by other family members, foster parents, adopted parents. It's just the nuclear family is not just the only family anymore. It has changed. And we need to adapt to this and learn this as well as teach. We also need to unlearn things as well, like society norms. I find how social norms, well, what we call social norms today, are okay. They're a bit mind boggling because we tease kids for having a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Like when Helena was just a baby, a friend at church was teasing me about, oh, they're going to be betrothed, we're going to have an arranged marriage. And I was like, this isn't funny, really. And then some other parents noticed, they're like, oh, my daughter has a boyfriend. And I'm like, she's 2. So it's okay to do that to kids. But when, in some cases, when they say I'm lesbian or gay, they're like, you're too young to know that. But it was only like a few years ago, you were telling them they had a relationship with someone as a joke. Or just, teasing them. So nah, that doesn't really sit well with me. Though some are now being more accepting of LGBT children, and they stop using the "you're too young to know" argument. However, we are now using it on kids who don't feel comfortable in their birth gender. So somehow we've picked up an argument of just put it into a new situation, and it's just, let's just say somehow progress is slow. There are many things that we thought were facts, and we thought, this is this. We believed the world was flat. Then we learnt it was round. And yes, I do know there is a wave of people believing the world is flat again. I don't have time for them. We believed the Earth was the centre of the universe. Then we learnt we're the 3rd planet from the Sun, which we revolve around. We believed the womb freely moved around the woman's body. We learnt it's in a fixed place. Of course it doesn't move. We believed Doctor Who would be dead in the water when David Tennant left. It didn't, and it's still good. Yes, there will never be a John Pertwee. He was the greatest and always will be. However, it's still a good show. I do enjoy it, and I can't wait to see more of the new Master, as his smile scares the shit out of me. I think it's because he opens his mouth wide enough, you can see the lining of his teeth, so you can see the shape of his teeth. Ugh, it's just too big of a smile. I can never trust that smile. Point being, though, we learned, accepted, and moved on. So why is it now okay to accept LGBT children in, but God forbid they are trans? One argument was we are taking away what makes being a boy and being a girl special. I disagree. Imagine, if you will, a boy and a girl in a toy aisle. On one side is stuff for boys. We have action men, Marvel, DC superheroes, racing cars, Buzz Lightyear blasters, dinosaurs, Minecraft, Star Wars, DIY tools, a lot of Lego, and a lot of the time gaming, Xbox games, PlayStation games. They always seem to mainly advertise to boys. While on the girls' toy section, you have makeup, jewellery making kits, tie-dye shirt kits, make your own handbags, kitchen cooking sets, and cleaning toys. Dolls and babies, vanity tables, My Little Pony, Barbie, Cindy, if she's still around. I haven't really bought that sort of stuff ever, and I don't really go to a kids' aisle that often. And it's mostly in pink. So much pink. I had a friend who decorated her baby's room pink. Pink cot, pink mattress, pink carpet, pink walls. Every single toy was handpicked pink. And it gave me a headache because it was just too bright. When the sun hit that room, it was just blinding. And a lot of toys I saw growing up felt like we were being pigeonholed. Girls got babies and bottles, teaching them to be mums, with kitchen sets to teach them how to cook, while the boys got football, racing and science sets, like showing the boys they can be whatever they want, while the girls are told to stay at home to raise kids. I did have one friend who allowed her son to have a pushchair because he wanted a pushchair to put his action figures in and stroll them around. Fair dues, he also wanted a doll. Fair enough. That whole thing of teaching boys they could be whatever they wanted did actually have a to it, because one little boy decided, I wanted to have a doll and treat it like it's my baby. So he wanted to show that he wanted to be a father, and then society kicked him in the ass for doing what they told him to. I've got no beef with women who want to stay at home to raise kids. If they choose to, knowing their options, then cool. But to be forced in a role is a no. Society seems to be under the impression raising kids is easy. It's not a job at all, as you don't get paid. Yet in reality, we are raising the future. I mean, thankfully, we are expanding their choices in toys and encouraging them to explore more than what society says they can be. And this has led to kids exploring more of who they are as a person. Ideas of gender is expanding. Women want to rock out in jeans and comic shirts. Cool. Men want to wear crop tops, skirts, or high heels. Go for it. If you can walk in high heels, then you deserve a medal. Change is hard, though it only becomes harder when you refuse to be flexible and adapt and listen. The captain on Twitter said it best. A fact is information minus emotion. An opinion is information plus experience. Ignorance is an opinion like an information. And stupidity is an opinion that ignores a fact. Ignorance and stupidity have loud voices, and people who cannot handle change are listening to them. This gets stamped into their minds. Trying to get them to unlearn this is hard and long, but we have to have hope change can happen. LGBT plus relationships and sex education is being thought out. The right people should have a great amount of input into this. And yes, this will be age appropriate, like everything else that we learn. Though some parents don't seem to have a clear idea of age appropriate. I play Grand Theft Auto 5. This is an 18 rated game where I can join a team to rob banks, transport illegal gain, shoot a random person, drive fast, race, whatever. It's an online game and it's also a story-based game. 8 times out of 10, when I join another player, I am talking to a person under the age of 18, and some are younger than 15. On a few rare occasions, they are 10 or under, with language I would have had the shit kicked out of me for speaking. It boggles me parents will allow their kids to play these games. I found out a friend of my daughter, my daughter is 9 years old, was watching a friend who was 2 years younger than her playing GTA, and she showed her the strip club. That's right, the strip club. I put my foot down with the kids' grandparents. I told them what they allow their kids to play is their business, though I don't agree with it. But if they want them to play with my kid, it doesn't go on while she's there. I'm not having my child exposed to this stuff at a young age, being shown women are objects. I don't even go to the strip club when I play. I don't visit sex workers. I mostly do the challenges of how far you can fall from a helicopter before letting my parachute off, or follow the storyline because it is a great storyline. I do like it. It was more well thought out than the others. Point is, if parents are okay allowing their young ones to watch and play 18 rated games which could sexualise them early, why are they against LGBT plus relationship and sex education, which is not designed to do so? In other words, they are on a sick, twisted logic created by ignorant, stupid people who don't want their little world to change because they are happy where they are, not giving a thought to those who are unhappy, never accepting what works for one may not work for another. The world is changing, especially now with COVID-19, where we've learnt jobs can be done at home, so people who are housebound and want to work should be able to, as we clearly see it can work. There will be massive change from this. Yes, we will adapt, and we do need to follow. LGBT plus people are not pedophiles. Why call them maps is beyond me. It's not a sexuality, it is a crime against everything. And I'm not going to say, God help the bastard who touches a child, because as a parent, I wouldn't trust myself to hold back if someone harmed my kid or any other. We're not cults, sex offenders, rapists, pimps, Illuminati, terrorists. What we are is human, with the right to live our lives. The only problem we have is not from LGBT+. It's the people who are against us. They say we do this, we do that. Then the news pops up and turns out they were the one doing the crimes they were accusing us of. One example was Roy Moore when he ran for Senate. This happened a year or so ago. He was accused of pursuing relationships with women as young as 14 when he was in his 30s. Accusations vary. The youngest, as said, 14, he brought her to his home and sexually molested her. One woman was accused him of sexual assault when she was 16 after he signed her yearbook. While it was released afterwards due to his behaviour towards teens was so off that he was banned from a local mall. I remember watching an interview with a Republican voter, and when asked how would they feel if their daughter came home, their 14-year-old daughter came home, and said they were being pursued by a 32-year-old man for a relationship, how would they feel? They responded, well, he was assistant district attorney, so it would be nice for my daughter to be with a hard-working man. No, I would have either called the police or I would have gone to his house with a bat and knocked him out for doing so, because I don't care what time it was the 80s, doesn't mean a thing to me. No. And this was a straight heterosexual cisgender man, and people just gave him the brush of going, oh, it was fine, it was that thing at the time. And he's homophobic. He is in favour of anti-LGBT. So we have a man who is anti-LGBT accusing LGBT plus of doing things, and it turns out he's the one doing it. So before you actually stop and accuse us of doing something, look on your side, because there are plenty of people doing those crimes, and we need to stop that. If you do want to learn more about transgender / non-binary, then you can visit mermaiduk.org.uk. Once again, we are not sponsored by them, we just love mermaids. Also, check out the Stonewall site, as there is a ton of information there waiting to be used. Remember to get awkward in conversation, as we never got anywhere pussyfooting around the issue. Hashtag Let's Get Awkward is on Podbean, Spotify and Anchor.fm. If you do want to support me and the podcast, then you can go to paypal.me/Let's Get Awkward. Or if you want to see me get my ass handed to me, I am on Twitch under the Dark Jester 1988, where I stream Monday, Wednesday and Saturday 9 PM at the moment. And the current game is We Happy Few. We Happy Few is the tale of a plucky bunch of moderately terrible people trying to escape from a lifetime of cheerful denial in the city of Wellington Wells. In this alternative 1960s England, conformity is key. You'll have to fight or blend in with the drug-addled inhabitants, most of whom don't take kindly to people who don't abide by their not-so-normal rules. So if you want to watch, you can see it, and the past videos of my streams are on YouTube. The tag name is Billy No Mates. So thanks for listening, and we will see you all next week.